All right, let's talk about building meta ads quiz funnels. My name is Josh Hainum. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Interact. We are the original quiz software. We've been around since 2013, so I've seen a lot of meta ads quiz funnels get built over the years. Many that have worked super well and way more that have not worked at all. So let's talk about that really quick before we start. Now, if your expectation coming into this is that you're going to watch this video, you're going to build a meta ads quiz funnel, and it's going to take your business from 0 to 100 or 0 to 10, that almost never works. What does work is if you're already running meta ads, you already have a system in place, you're running different creatives, you have kind of this cycle coming in and out of different campaigns that you're running. Working quizzes into that can be a great way to increase your leads that are coming in, lower your cost per lead, all that kind of good stuff. So if you're already running a system on meta ads, then I recommend following this. If you're not, I don't recommend using it as the first foray into meta ads because it's kind of advanced and there's a lot of steps to it and it can take a really long time. And then if your other offers are not built out downstream, then it doesn't really make sense anyways. So let's get into it. So what's a meta ads quiz funnel? It's a conversational experience where your customer is solving the problem for themselves and you're the guide that helps them solve their problem. They are solving their own problems. They're figuring it out by going through the logic of your quiz. And then you're just alongside to be the expert that can give some guidance. And they make the decision that they want to work with you because they're like, oh, cool. This person was able to help me with X. And now I can help that they can help me with Y and Z as a result because I trust them now. That's what a quiz funnel is for. Conversion rates are really good when these do hit. So these are like survivorship bias numbers. These are the numbers of the quizzes that have worked really well. The ones that haven't worked really well just never see the light of day. So we don't have those numbers to share, but 71% view to start, 66% start to complete, and then 97% of people who do complete the quiz become a lead because if you follow the method in this guide, then people are ready to opt in by the time they get to the end of the quiz. Part 1, quiz ideas. Let's get into this. So ideation process for successful meta ads quizzes. First, you're going to identify audience needs. Then you're going to brainstorm quiz title ideas that could meet those needs. And then you're going to test and validate your quiz ideas. Method 1 for identifying audience needs, compile a list of the questions that people ask you individually. These cannot be questions that they would ask you in public because what you're looking for is the questions where people feel like they need an individualized answer. It's not good enough to just have it be a video. It's the thing that they're like, oh, the answer to this question is only applicable to me, so I need to ask you what the answer is. It's not going to be the generic stuff. So write all those down if you have them already. Second method is just to remember the questions that people ask you, just kind of do a brainstorm. And the third method, if you don't have either of those, grab target customers, 5 of them, build a focus group, and then ask them what their needs are, rank them in order. So what are needs? These are circumstances that you have a necessity to overcome. You need to solve this problem. You need to feel better. You need to, whatever it is. Now, these are not just like the basic things. These are not like high level problems like, oh, I need more money. I need to, I don't know, whatever it is. Like, I need a better job. Like, it's not the basic things. It's like what's underneath that. That's what the needs are. And translating problems into needs, you want to list out your problems. You're going to take the stated problem and then search for the root cause of it. Like, what's actually going on that causes this problem? Just keep asking why. Like, if you're having this conversation in real life and someone comes to you with this like very basic problem, you're just like, why? Until they tell you what's really going on, and that's the need. Then list the root cause of those problems, and those are the needs that you're going to turn into quiz titles. Now, brainstorming quiz titles based on needs, you basically kind of finagle whatever the needs are into one of these quiz title formats. These are the formats that have just proven to work really well. So what type of blank are you? What blank is right for you? Do you have blank? Learn how to blank. You can blank. So it's basically just like you're figuring out how to turn this solution to a need into a quiz title. And basically the quiz title promises to solve for the need that the customer has. Now, you can test and validate your ideas. First way to do it is to test it with some people that are in your audience who you know would give you helpful feedback, not just the ones that would tell you, it's great, it's cool. You want the ones that are going to be like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about here. And so you want the people that are actually going to give you feedback. Method 2 You could build a basic version of the quiz funnel and just run a little bit of ads to it to test it as, like what's the click rate's going to be, what's the conversion rate's going to be, and then build out the rest of the funnel. So those are your ways to test. Let's look at some examples because I think this will help a lot. First one is from Common Era. Common Era is a really cool jewelry brand. They have a quiz that is the goddess quiz. Which goddess are you? This quiz is meeting customers' needs for self-discovery, personal meaning, and empowerment by guiding them to a medallion that represents their unique identity and inner strength. So let's just highlight those needs really quickly. Self-discovery, personal meaning, and empowerment. Those are not like the things that people are necessarily going to come to you with right off the top. Like, oh, I need to feel empowered. I need to feel personal meaning. Not exactly, but that's what they're actually thinking about all the time. And so you want your quiz to address that. Next one's from Jenna Kutcher. This one meets the needs for guidance, motivation, and practical support because this quiz is learn exactly how to achieve your goals. It's like, learn how to do this thing. It's a thing that you want to do, and I can give you practical guidance for how to actually get there. Next one's from Earth Funeral. This quiz is which Earth Day tree are you? This one has to do with self-discovery, connection to nature, and playful curiosity. Those are needs. Like people have a need for, playfulness. They have a need for connecting to nature. They have a need for self-discovery. And if that's what your audience has a need for, then helping them find that solves for their needs. Next one's from Jessica Zweig. This one helps with clarity, authenticity, and a deeper sense of purpose. Again, those are like real needs that humans have. And especially if that's what your audience is identifying as their need, then helping them with that is a way to get them to click on this quiz. So here's a quick summary of the quiz titles and the needs. You just kind of see in this table, like each one ties back to a set of needs that the audience has, that your audience has. And that's going to be a surefire way to get them to actually engage with the quiz because you're helping them with something that they genuinely need as a human being. So let's get into part 2, quiz results. Quiz results come right after the ideas because once you've identified which needs you're helping to solve for, then you need to make the results of your quiz, which is the solutions to those needs. Funnel boosting quiz results basically follow this formula. You're going to have 4 to 6 of them that are unique. They are personalized solutions to the audience needs. The format is always going to be, here's your personal solution. Here's education about why the solution is helpful for you as a person. And then here's next steps, which involves working with you as the brand. You can test the results with AI and say, hey, here's the title of my quiz. Here's the result. Does this actually solve for the need of my audience? 4 to 6 unique solutions is how you're going to figure out the results. List all the solutions to the customer needs your quiz promises to help solve for. So if your customer is coming to you, they ask you the same question over and over again, that's your need. What answers do you give? And who do you give those answers to? Usually this is going to be divided out by the type of person that needs that answer or the level to which they need help. You're going to offer them different solutions. You're not going to tell everybody the same thing. Not everybody has the same need in your audience. So you're going to group them all together and then write your quiz results as personalized descriptions of those solutions. Here is the format you can follow for writing the quiz results. Your title is a direct solution to the customer need, i.e. your anxiety solution is solution. If the quiz is, what's your solution to anxiety? The second part is going to be the personalized solution. So 25 words with a direct you language. So you are, be optimistic, and then describe the solution to those needs. Then you're going to provide education, giving context about what the solution means for this person, why it's for them, be reassuring. And then the next steps is how the person can actually make progress. And that's where you can come in with your products and your services and your offers and be like, hey, I could help you in this way. Let's look at some examples of these results. So for Common Era, you can see the quiz here on the left and the corresponding results page on the right. Which goddess are you is the quiz. Your Athena is the answer. You're the goddess of wisdom, courage, and strategy. About you, about Athena, and the Athena collection. My gosh, this is a good quiz. Yeah, go take it if you have any interest in jewelry, or just want to look at a great quiz, I'll link it in the comments below or the description below. It's really, really well done, the way that they have each of the results pages very clearly answering the question that's posed by the quiz and meeting the needs that are promised to be met by this quiz. Jenna Kutcher, same thing. This quiz is all about giving actionable, quick advice. And, the recommendation that she gives here for this person is email marketing. And there's just a quick 1, 2, 3 of resources that you can follow for getting your email marketing off the ground, making it better. And so it's just a really quick answer to that question. Earth Funeral, same thing. Which tree are you? You're the dragon blood tree. Gives this really, really cool description of it. I really, really like this one as well. And then Jessica's Wag, same thing. How do you step into your authentic power? And you're the trailblazer, right? It's like, and then it's got all this great description below and then resources as well. So you can kind of see the pattern here. It's like this quiz is helping meet a need, and the result is the personalized way that it does actually meet that need. There's a framework for quiz results. Quiz results generally fall into one of two categories. These are the frameworks for how you think about them. So either the quiz results represent the different products that you offer. So let's say you offer 4 different products. You can think of each result representing the products that you offer, although that's not how they're going to be framed. They're going to be framed as the solution to what your customer needs. But in your head, you're like, each of these needs can be met by one of my products. Like, I help each of these types of people in a unique way with a different product of mine. And those are my results. So that's a really easy way to think about it, is like, these are my 4 products. How do I describe these products to people in the context of what they want? Now, the other category, and this is the one that we fall into at Interact, is, we have one quiz builder, we have one product, but it helps people in different ways depending on what they need. And so you have different outcomes, right? So like our quiz that helps you find the best way to generate leads with a quiz is branching out to different results. And those results for us are represented by, you need a website conversion quiz, you need an Instagram conversion quiz, you need a meta ads quiz, you need an SEO quiz strategy. And so it's these different quiz strategies, but it's all the same product. So if you have one product that has multiple uses, then the results of your quiz are going to be the uses of your product. Part 3, quiz questions. I really like this part. So questions that engage people, ask people questions that can be answered automatically. Like, they just know the answer. It's just on the tip of their tongue. It's already there. Each question is varied so that people stay interested. I did this really interesting interview with Yi Li. He's a professor and did this study where he found that basically people stop answering questions after 5, where they start to drop off after 5 if the questions are all the same, like roughly the same. So you want each question to be varied, but keep all questions the same length, style, and tone, because then when someone's clicking through, they're not going to have to scroll up and down to answer the questions. The purpose of quiz questions is, number 1, to find out which solution will solve for the needs of your customers that your quiz promises to help with. That's number 1, far and above. Number 2 is to build trust with your customers by showing them how well you know them, by asking them questions that you would only know if you know them really well. There's in this movies a lot, right? In movies, there'll be this thing where it's like, oh, you would only know that if you actually knew me, right? There's an impersonator, and they're like, oh, where do we keep the keys in the house, right? And you're like, oh, under the stairs behind the whatever, right? You would only know that if you actually knew the person. You can ask questions that do the same thing, where it's like, oh, you would only know to ask me that if you actually knew what was going on in my life. And that builds a tremendous amount of trust, and you definitely want to do that. So how to make an accurate quiz? You can zoom in on this to see what this is actually doing, but there's 2 different kinds. There's personality logic and there's scored logic. Personality logic is basically where each answer choice correlates to one or more of the results of the quiz. And so as somebody's going through, those correlations are basically like +1s, or a tally +1 for those different results. Whichever result has the most +1s at the end is the one that's going to be shown to you, because it's the one that you have the most affinity for. You're most likely to want that result. Scored logic is like the ones that used to be in magazines. You're tallying up your score, and based on your score, you're going to fall into a range of the outcomes. So there's an outcome range that's like 0 to 40 points. So if you got somewhere between 0 and 40 points, you are that outcome. If you got 41 to 60 points, you're a different one. So that's how scored logic works. Now you can also do a branching logic quiz for extra accuracy to like make sure that every single pathway through the quiz is exactly defined. So if you have a quiz where it's super important that you tell people one specific thing, if they answer these questions in a certain way, then by all means use this branching logic. This is like one of my favorite ways to use our quiz builder. It's super, super powerful. You can really, really get down into the nitty gritty details of telling people like, hey, your solution is this. I know that. I'm very confident in it because we have this branching logic on the back end. Question logistics. Ask 5 to 8 questions. Only ask for the information that you need to make the quiz accurate. Every question should be about the same number of words. Every answer choice should be about the same number of words. Most popular question topics are convictions, so asking people what they believe, what they feel really strongly about. Reflective, asking people about who they are. Traits, asking people about their strengths or their struggles or what they're good at, what they're bad at. Preferences, what they dislike, what they like. Goals, ask people what they want to achieve with their life. And identity, asking people how they see themselves and how they want to be seen. You don't have to ask one of these, but these are just good starting points and questions that you know people want to answer. How to ask questions. This is actually a science-backed method for how to ask questions to get quiz takers to like you, not in necessarily a nefarious way, although you can do whatever you want, but definitely proceed with caution. Ask tenderly, so asking in a way that makes people feel comfortable. Like whatever I say as an answer is not going to be a bad thing. Receptivity, asking in a way that makes sure that people know whatever they say, that's okay. Active curiosity, asking in a way that shows you actually want to know the answer, not in like a begrudging way, like, oh, I guess I'll have to ask you. Affection, asking in a way that shows you like the quiz takers. Don't give answer choices that make it seem like they're a bad person because, I don't know, they haven't figured something out that you can help with. That's not going to put them in the right mood to actually want to work with you. Generosity, asking in a way that assumes the best. Always assume the best. And then a holistic view, asking in a way where all viewpoints are valid, all opinions are valid, making sure that people know that when they're answering the questions. So let's go into some examples of the questions. Here's one. What's your dream job? I like this one because it's such a simple question. It's from Common Era, but the answer choices are unique because it's like spiritual guru, strategist, matchmaker, witch, activist, lady of leisure, queen. It's not like, oh, engineer, customer support, business person, right? Like it's not like generic. And I think this is a good example of showing that you understand your audience because it's a simple question, but the answer choices are unique. Here's one from Jenna Kutcher. Now, if you could snap your fingers and accomplish one thing in the next 90 days, what would it be? This is like a high risk question, but because it's Jenna and she's just excellent at knowing what her audience needs, it works. Like the answer choices are super specific. They are very, very much in line with what her audience wants. Next one from Earth Funeral. Which environmental campaign do you connect with the most? Again, like a big risk because you're showing campaigns that have like graphics on them. And if you don't know your audience, then they might be like, what the heck is this? So really good question here. Jessica Zweig, finish this sentence in the next 12 months. I want to, and then it gives examples. Again, like really, really strong knowledge of the audience, but also you can see how these questions are filtering out into the different results. Part 4, the opt-in form of the quiz, the grand finale. This comes up after someone answers all the questions of the quiz before they see their results. We've tested this a billion times, not exaggerating. We've had a billion people see our quizzes on the internet. So a billion people have corroborated this data. Basically, if you put the opt-in form at the end of the quiz after someone's answered all the questions, they're more likely to opt in because they already know you, they already like you, and they already trust you. Versus putting it at the very beginning, which a lot of people want to do, and we do not have a feature for that. You can do it if you want to collect the lead on a different platform and then have it redirect to our quiz, but doing it at the end has a higher conversion rate. And why is that? because it uses the principle of reciprocity. The principle of reciprocity is stupidly strong. Like, there's multiple books, there's a bazillion studies. Like, the most famous one is that book, Influence. And in that book, basically, reciprocity is a universal thing across all societies and all time, where if you give somebody something of value, they're going to feel obligated to give you something back. And so your opt-in form is basically going to say, I'm going to give you value, not just with your quiz results, but also with something additional, which is number 2 here. Offer additional value beyond just the opt-in. To get the results, you have to give something else that's also of value so that you can fully tap into that reciprocity principle. Let's look at examples here. So with Common Era, this one's just really simple. You'll get your results and 10% off. Straightforward, simple, excellent. Jenna Kutcher, a little more context about what you're going to get if you opt in, but again, very simple, straightforward. It tells you what you're going to get. Earth Funeral, same thing. Get a copy of the results. Nothing else. Straightforward. Jessica's Wag, again, same thing. Very simple, very straightforward. All of these opt-in forms, very simple, very straightforward. Use the principle of reciprocity. Now, the landing page that your quiz is on. So just in words, you're going to embed your quiz onto a landing page on your website where people can go to take the quiz. And it's going to be like yourwebsite.com/quiz. So like jennakutcher.com/quiz. I think hers are a little more specific than that, but that's the example. The quiz landing page should exactly reflect the ad of the quiz. The title, image, description, and take quiz button should all be above the fold on mobile, because most of your traffic is going to come from mobile, especially if you're doing meta ads. And here's what it looks like. So here's the Common Era one. There is the landing page. It's really simple. It matches, and it's using the default Interact cover design. So it's going to be the title, the image, the description, and the take quiz button. Here's one from Jenna Kutcher. This is a custom cover page. So with Interact, you can actually have a custom cover page where you use your own page to be the cover of the quiz. And then when someone clicks that take the quiz button, it's going to go to the quiz starting on the first question. So it goes directly into the quiz. And this is what that one looks like. Again, it matches perfectly to the ad. Earth Funeral, same thing. Interact default cover page, but it matches the ad perfectly. And you can see all the elements above the fold. And Jessica's Wag, custom cover page, all the elements above the fold on mobile. Boom, easy. Email follow-up. So once you've got somebody's email, you want to deliver a ton of value, because otherwise they're going to unsubscribe right away, and you don't want that. Email follow-up, send the results right away, include some sort of CTA in that results email, as well as send a dedicated email for a CTA right after that, like not right after, but like maybe the next day. And then continue sending a personalized sequence of emails. So again, you'll send the results right away. There's some sort of CTA in those results. Then you're going to send a CTA for the next step of your funnel as a dedicated email shortly after. So you're like, hey, you took the quiz. Would you also be interested in this thing? Whatever the next step is. And then you're going to continue sending personalized emails based on their results. So here's what that could look like. Immediately send your quiz results. Your quiz results are, and then the results. Day 1, after that, offer the next step in the funnel in a dedicated email. Day 3, offer resources for each result, and that also includes a CTA. Day 7, you send a story about somebody who has a result, so it's more relatable. It also includes a CTA. And then day 10, you send a podcast playlist. This is all just examples. You don't have to follow this exactly, but this is kind of like what it could look like. How to think about follow-up. Put yourself in the mind of your customer. What information would you want to be sent over email to continue solving for that need that first attracted you to take this quiz? The answers to that question, those are all great emails to send. You can send personalized emails for like 10 plus emails. I've seen great sequences that go quite long. So you can definitely continue tapping into the fact that they took this quiz. It's very memorable. Part 7, the quiz ad setup. Now, it's a little melodramatic because it's actually really simple once the quiz has been set up. Basically, your ad should match the actual quiz in topic, tone, and style. Use clear and concise headlines that match the quiz title. Have a clear and strong call to action. And then communicate personal value that induces curiosity. So the targeting and tracking on these, basically you're just going to be targeting your existing Facebook ads audiences, and then you're going to be tracking using Interact Analytics and just run one ad for each quiz. So it's really simple. It's like you're just going to set up a quiz ad, and that ad is going to go to one dedicated quiz landing page, and you'll be able to see the analytics inside of Interact. An example audience, this is one that we've tested and used for ourselves. Not that many targeting criteria. It's like ages, people who match, and then also must have like behaviors. And this worked pretty well for us. So nothing too complicated here. The analytics funnel that you can see inside of Interact will show you views, starts, completions, and leads. So again, if you have one-to-one, you have one ad and one quiz on Interact, you can see these analytics inside of Interact so you can track. And your ad is just going to be driving clicks. And then in Interact, you're going to be able to see the actual conversions. I don't necessarily recommend doing the metapixel or any of that kind of jazz. I usually just have people send traffic to the landing page. You're doing it based on clicks, and then you're seeing the analytics inside of Interact. It's not that possible to set up too much pixel tracking with Interact. It's a little bit tricky, as it is with a lot of third-party platforms. And honestly, the people who've had the most success with us just do it this way. You can also see question drop-off and how people are answering each individual question, like a survey, but it's a quiz, so you get extra data. So you can kind of see what people are most focused on. And then you'll be able to see conversion report as well. So which results are yielding the people who are opting in. That can help you continue to refine the targeting. And then you can see individual lead responses as well. So each person that opts in, how exactly did they answer the questions? You can export all that, send it to Google Sheets, Excel, ChatGPT, and do analysis on it. A/B testing. Let's get into this. There's a few different ways to A/B test. So basically, you can duplicate a quiz and run the ads at the same time. So again, one ad to one quiz and run two at the same time. Or you can just run a time-bound test where it's like, all right, one ad version to the same quiz, and then the next week, a different ad version to the next quiz. Honestly, that's what I do most of the time. It's not super high tech, nothing fancy here, but it works. So you can duplicate the quiz inside of Interact really easily. You do have to reconnect your integration each time you duplicate a quiz. So make sure you go in and reconnect, let's say HubSpot, if you have it connected to HubSpot, but then you can run an A/B test at the same time with two different quizzes. Or you can just run a time down test, which is exactly as simple as it sounds. You run one ad to one quiz for a week. You see what your conversions are. You run a different ad to that same quiz the next week, see what your conversions are. Quizzes built on Interact have generated over 100 million leads. You can build yours now at tryinteract.com. You can sign up for free and actually build out your quiz, and then you can start a trial to launch that quiz, get it out in the world, and see how it goes. And we set it up where it's pretty cheap up front to like try things and see if it's working for you. If it's not working for you, it's no worries. Because from our perspective, we've been around long enough where it's like, I'm not going to try to tell you to do something that's not going to work for you. If it's not working for you, all of our subscriptions are month to month, or if you're paying annually, there's no obligation to continue. So I think in this guide, I tried to analyze what's worked best from what we've seen, and then kind of feed that back of like, here's what I would recommend. But again, if you're not already in the practice of running a lot of meta ads, I don't necessarily recommend trying this out of the blue, because it is kind of a lot of work and it's not necessarily going to blow your socks off. But if you're already running a bunch of different ads, you have everything set up, and you want to try a couple of different quiz funnels in there, I think following this method makes it a lot simpler to think about how to build a quiz. And there are times when it works really well, and then it yields a lot of great results. So by all means, give it a shot. I appreciate you watching. Again, my name is Josh. I'm the co-founder at Interact, and we always appreciate people who create quizzes. It's really fun. It's a big part of what we do, is kind of just collaborating with people who create really great quiz content, and it makes it fun. It keeps us in the game. So thanks for watching.